Okay, you're tuning into the Journey Uncovered, where we have conversations with big thinkers, entrepreneurs, and creatives to ask them about their journey, the process in which they got to where they are. Listen, we are not just concerned about where they've gotten to, but we are also concerned about the process. It's really about the process for us. And today we are going to be having a long conversation with someone that I've been following for the past 2 years. You know how I do it. I always research into my guests. I dig deep. When I say I dig deep and I follow them for a very long time because I like to have true conversations with them. And I like to bring people that have true life experiences in everything that they are going to share with my audience. This is season 4 recording, and we are going to be diving into the film industry in Ghana. And today we have somebody who has interviewed a whole lot of directors, a whole lot of producers, both in Ghana and outside Ghana. And she travels sometimes to go for film festivals and all of that. And today we have her here to answer a couple of our questions because we want to know more about the film industry. We're using this episode to start. And so, tune in, enjoy the conversation. AJ.
Yes.
I know you as AJ.
Yeah.
But my audience don't know you. So, who is AJ and what is AJ into?
Depends on who's asking. So, if you are asking, I mean, because you want to know the journey, I would start maybe from the beginning to a bit of what is happening now.
Okay.
Hopefully, what is to come. So, my name is Alice Johnson. You can call me AJ for short. And I am a multi-dimensional creative. I dabble in a lot of creative aspects.
Okay.
And so that's why I asked who's asking, because it's difficult to just pinpoint one thing that I do. However, I currently am known as a cultural journalist who speaks on African cinema or African film. And the goal is to not just capture the African film scene, but to project it to the whole world. So that's what I'm known for I would say in most places that I go to now. However, I also have a 9 to 5 job I do, which is I work with the Goethe Institute, and I currently am working on a project that is the African Europe Partnership for Culture project, funded by the European Union.
Okay.
So that is more on the cultural side of things. I'm the cluster coordinator for Ghana. It's a West African project. Actually, the project exists all through Africa, but I work with the West African prong and also the Sub-Saharan Africa because that's the whole of Africa. But for the West African component, I am the cluster coordinator for Ghana. So seeing to the day-to-day activities that are happening in Ghana as a cluster and with all the other West African countries. Yeah, so I'll say that's who
That's
I am.
a lot. That's a lot. But let's go into what's a cultural journalist like? Because this is the first time I'm hearing it.
Okay, so cultural journalist is just someone who captures the essence of the cultural scene. And the reason why the word cultural journalist will be used is because the person does not dabble in just one aspect of the cultural scene. But for instance, I deal with film and theater because if we're going back to the journey, my first degree was in theater arts.
Okay.
So I have a background in theater arts. I majored in stage directing. Yes. And then I did a bit of playwriting and then acting as well. But generally, you get to learn everything and then you major in your final year. So the final year was in stage directing. So of that, I'm definitely an advocate for theater. And then also after school, I wanted to explore other ways of telling stories because as a theater person, you are literally telling stories.
Yeah.
You are basically giving a slice of life on stage for your audience. And so I wanted to explore other ways. And prior to that, I also dabbled in media, doing a bit of posting while I was in senior high school and just like posting events, and it was something I loved. So going into university, I also did a bit of radio. So I media trained in that aspect. So after school, I really wanted to explore those other sides, not just the theater side. So I went to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation Media.
GBC.
Yes, GBC Media School. And the course I did was in TV production and film. The reason why I did it is because I wanted to explore that side but not just go into the industry without the skills.
Oh.
So it was really heavy on the TV production, and I'm really excited and glad that I got a chance to be a part of like the course. It was short but very intensive. So you do a bit in class, and then you do a bit in your chosen area. So I did TV production. So I was working closely with Antina at GBC.
Hey, I'm sorry for interrupting the conversation. I just wanted to introduce you to this amazing bookkeeping platform made for Africans that I found online 3 years ago when I was looking for a platform to keep records in my business. So this is Keep Up Store. In Keep Up Store, you get to send bulk SMS to your customers or your clients. You can get team management on it, sales tracking on it. You can issue invoices and receipts on the same platform. You can manage your inventory, and you can also create an online store for your business. Now, I have good news for you. You can use the promo code TJU to get a 1-month free subscription on their platform. It's been an amazing 3 years using their products. And so I reached out to them because I truly believed in their products. And I wanted to also introduce them to you. The link will be right in the description. Let's get back into the conversation.
At GBC, I'm sure anyone who's watching who probably knows that.
Oh, the moment people hear Tina, they will know.
They will know, yes. So, I mean, she was working on Girls. It was a production which centered on young adolescents, and it was a girls program. It was live, so they'll come to the studio and they'll do interviews and things like that. So it was really fun connecting with a woman who has done it for years and then working behind the scenes. And then I also worked with another producer. She's Esther, but then I forget her surname. So I was working with her also on other programs. So probably during Easter we'll go to churches and do interviews. So I was doing a bit of that. So while I was doing the production, I was also ending up in front of the camera as well, which is what I have done prior. Like I've done radio and I've done a few things here and there. So it was just like an accumulation of every single thing I could do. And when I figured that, okay, this is really something that I want to do, then I decided that after GBC, I would explore that side in the media production. So I started working on TV. I was with Joy Prime, and I was producing the aspects of their morning show. So Prime Morning, with Jay Foley and I forget her name now, but I'm looking at her picture right now. But she was one of the ladies who won Miss Ghana's Most Beautiful. I think she still does a show herself, but yeah, probably when I used to call her Mamaga, but she's one of the winners, and she was really kind and nice and very helpful because she was presenting with two gentlemen. One of the gentlemen whose name I've also forgotten, Daniel. I think he's currently with BBC, and then it was Jay Foley, and then it was her. And it was really a nice experience working behind the scenes. I think even prior to GBC, I had done a bit of that with Joy Prime because I applied to be an intern. So I was doing a bit of that. Then GBC came up, I did that. So after GBC, I came back with more experience on the show. And then I got a chance one day to be behind, not just behind the scenes, but to host one of the shows. I think they were doing a talent show. So I did that. And then I hosted that morning show. It was really the first time I'd ever done live TV because with GBC, I was doing a bit of, pre-recorded
sessions.
So doing live, it's different.
It's a lot.
It's a lot because a lot of screaming going on in your ear as you're talking and as you're trying to coordinate things.
You're saying something and somebody is also saying something. So
they're like, camera left. And then you're saying all these things in your ear and you have to like keep a straight face and still keep like, just
play your role and still be listening to the instructions.
So it was a lot. But then, so those are all experiences that came on along the line. But then I realized after that I had gotten a lot of experience in TV production, but not much with film, which is what I did at GBC. I did TV production and film. The film was great. The film aspect was great, and it was a lot of learning as well. And we had to work on a short film idea. I wrote and directed that. But I felt like I still had a lot more to learn with TV and with film. So after that, I applied for the MultiChoice Talent Factory, which has academies across Africa, in West Africa, in East Africa, and in Southern Africa, and then in South Africa as a country. Yes. So I applied and I got into the West African Academy, which was in Lagos. So yeah, then that's when I became more aware of the film industry and what it entailed. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely something that I want to explore more of. So I did that. It was a year program. You go to Lagos, you stay there, and then you go for class, and then you get a chance to work in the industry. So I worked on the African Magic Viewers Choice Awards and
The AMVCA, we all
yeah,
know.
the AMVCA.
Hey.
And I worked on Nigerian Idol. I think that time they were working on that. So I worked behind the scenes of that. And I worked on Tinsel, the Tinsel.
Tinsel.
Yes, I worked on
I watched that show.
Yes, it's the longest running series. I think it's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing.
Yes, yes. It's
Wow.
almost like Generations from South Africa. But yeah, so I got to do a bit of this and that, and then also learn the business of filmmaking. One thing I really appreciated about MultiChoice Talent Factory is that they concentrate on the business of filmmaking. So you're not just learning as a creative. You go in and then you discover what it entails to be actually a filmmaker.
I like how you've taken us through everything.
Yeah.
Now I have a few questions from everything you said. I'm interested in the business of filmmaking, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
But let's talk about AJ4Short, because I realized in your introduction you mentioned it. What is AJ4Short? Because it sounds like your name that has been carefully curated, like it's Alice Johnson, but it's AJ4Short.
Yeah.
And then that also goes on to be like your social media handle and every other thing. So walk me through like how you got to that name and what gap are you trying to fill with AJ4Short? So we'd like to say a very big thank you to our sponsor, Is Visual Render, for providing us with this space to have the recording in. Is Visual Render is a 3D studio located in Accra. They create 3D images and animations for marketing purposes and presentation purposes. If you're a real estate developer, an interior designer, or an architect looking to create images and animations for your project, look no further than Is Visual Render. They create the best images and animations and also virtual tours for any kind of projects that you can think about. Contact Is Visual Render today and let them create the best visualization for your projects.
So it's exactly where I stopped in the story. So after MultiChoice Talent Factory, I was in Lagos for a few months and then I returned to Ghana. So coming back to Accra is a different energy in terms of like the film industry and just generally the energy in Lagos. I'm sure anyone who has lived in Lagos who's Ghanaian will understand what I'm talking about. The energy is different. So coming back, it was just like, okay, what next? You know, like what's the next step in this journey? Then I realized that the possibility of me being in Lagos and succeeding is very high because one thing I know about Lagos is once you're willing to work and you have already gone through a process like MultiChoice Talent Factory, made some, contacts, and all you need to do is just keep showing up, and then with time you'll become known for what it is you do. And then you get a chance to, have a living or make a living out of film. However, I came back to Ghana and Ghana is my country. So I was a bit, at that point, I was like at a crossroad because I was like, do I go back to Nigeria and then hustle there, or do I actually stay here in Ghana? And to be honest, when I came back to Ghana, it wasn't easy in the sense that like there was a job waiting for me or something of the sort. But I still wanted to, first of all, understand the industry that my country has, which I didn't understand. I didn't know much about it. Exactly. So I was like, okay, I really need to understand because right now, through this 1-year course, I've really been able to understand what happens in Lagos and I can get, I can give someone a brief on the industry over there, but do I know about my own country's industry? No. So I just wanted to find out more. So I started from all the way back. I just started watching films from before we got independence. And just understanding what the industry is all about, like understanding the kind of films we're making then and how we got here. Because like they say, you can never really know where you're going if you don't understand where you're coming from. So that's what led me to start AJ4Short. And AJ4Short, yes, like you said, is from my name. And it was something that people were calling me AJ. And then I think it was a film we watched, and then there was a girl who was called um, a particular name, and then she used to say AJ4Short in a funny way. So they were teasing me in school like that, and then I think it just stuck with me. I was like, "Oh, this
And then
cool
let's
name,
use it.
yeah." And so it stuck, and so that's how that name came about. So basically, it just began with me wanting to find out more about the Ghanaian film industry. So
Mm.
that it's not like if I'm coming out to talk about it, I wouldn't really have an idea of what it is. I began watching films and finding out things I didn't want to keep it to myself. So a number of friends I would be speaking to, literally I would be throwing it down their throats. Like, you know that this happened, and then I'm like, okay, it's okay. I don't really, I'm not really interested in film like that, but I'm just listening to it because it's you. But you sound so passionate. Why don't you share it? So there was a friend of mine who kept insisting that, I think you should share it because, and then so okay, let's start a YouTube channel. So I watch reviews. Even that time it wasn't called AJ4Short. I think it was Miss AJ.
Yes, it was. It changed before it got to AJ4Short.
When I was in senior high school, I was being called Miss AJ. Like AJ was a part of the brand.
The brand.
Then, but so I just was with time. I was like, a lot of people have said AJ4Short to me, and it kind of like stuck. So why don't I just change? So that kind of changed. And so I just began with a YouTube channel, sharing what I had found out because I felt like every single Ghanaian deserves to know where we were before. So that's how.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing to know the gap, and I'm excited you didn't just directly come back and then you started criticizing. Instead, you wanted to find out like what's the industry like? What was there before I existed, and then what is there now, and then how can we make changes to that? So I really like that. So how do you see your platform now? Do you think it's a documentation platform? Is it like for documentation, or it is for distribution, or it is for more like awareness? Because then it's like a mixture of everything. It's just like you, multidisciplinary. So it's a mixture of a whole lot of things. But how would you describe AJ4Short?
I'll describe AJ4Short as a platform that is amplifying African cinema.
Amazing.
That's it.
Amazing. Yeah. And how important is it for media? Would I call you a media house at this point? Because essentially that's what you're doing.
Yes.
Okay, so how important is it for media houses like yours to exist within the film industry in Ghana? And what are the advantages, right, for having you do the kind of things that you do?
Oh, how important is it? To be honest, I think I don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah, I want you to blow your own trumpets.
Okay. So that's what this discussion was about. Yeah. Well, I would say that I hope that people come across the page and learn more about themselves. And by themselves, I mean, I can't cover the whole of Africa. I can only do as much. It's just me. Yeah. So I do my best to make it majority of the work I do based in Ghana. However, it's always good to also highlight the good things that are happening cinema-wise across the continent and also in the diaspora. So for me, it's really important because representation is important. Just like people use examples like when you think of maybe an animation or a superhero, you're thinking someone that is not African because we didn't have a lot of those.
We only watched Spider-Man and
Superman, and none of them were African. So you see the impact that Wakanda Forever coming into the picture made. So it's like representation. Younger Africans will see, or African children will see this and be like, okay, a superhero can also be Black and also be African or African descent. So for me, it's important that platforms like this exist, that people see that, okay, Africa has a lot of things to offer, and cinema is one of them. It may not be in a particular standard. And by standard, I mean that there's a particular benchmark that has been put in place technically for things, right? That's why if you are nominated for an Oscar, it's a big deal because you have been able to tick a particular box. However, I don't want us to put ourselves in a box. We are doing what we can with the capacity that we have, and we should appreciate it. It's really not. So for me, it's like celebrating what it is we are doing now, knowing that we
Okay.
can do better, and hopefully we'll get the best
Out of it. Okay. So with everything that you've documented so far under AJ4Short, what is it that you think people should know about the film industry?
With everything I've documented, I would say that people should know. When you say film industry, are you talking about in Ghana?
Yes,
or?
in Ghana.
Okay, in
Actually,
Ghana.
in Ghana.
Okay, yes. So for me, I would say you can't really talk much about something you don't know a lot about. So for me, it's really important that we all educate ourselves and we all get to know where we are coming from and what the industry actually is, rather than just maybe have form an opinion about something just because you see a few clips on social media. So there are a lot of misconceptions that people are not making films or there are no films being made in Ghana. There are films being made, but then the thing is there are no platforms to talk about these things. That's why a platform like
yours.
AJ4Short exists, because I see a lot of people doing a lot of work, and filmmaking is not beans.
I do.
It's not. So, and the thing is, I'm just grateful to have had a bit of experience in that regard. So I understand the work that goes into, no matter how bad you see a film to be, or how you think that it was not done in a professional way or in a good way. Regardless, there are still a lot of sacrifices made on set. There's a lot of logistics that goes into it. I'm not talking about the quality of films being made. I'm talking about the fact that films are being made in the first place.
Okay. So that's something you think Ghanaians should know, that there are films being made in Ghana and there are good films that are being made in Ghana. It's just that they are not doing a lot of publicity.
Oh, that's not to say that they are not doing a lot of publicity. I'll just say that the information is not out there.
It's just not out there.
Yes. So hopefully there will be more platforms like AJ4Short, like we even have Movie Freak. We have so many other platforms that exist. I'm not the only one doing something like that. But the motive might be different. Just like you said, it's a lot of things that I do. You don't necessarily have to put a tag to things. Is what I've realized.
Okay. Now, you see, people say this thing about every industry, but I'd like to know, what's it like in the film industry? That do you need connections in the film industry in Ghana as it stands now?
So when you say connections, what do you mean?
So take, for example, maybe I want to go on a particular set or I want to act in a particular movie.
Okay.
Do I need to know the person running the shots or calling the shots to be able to get in there? Or can I just go through the normal process of auditioning and getting the role that I need to get?
Okay. So there are some open calls for auditions. And what I would say is people should take advantage of those to hopefully get selected. One thing that you can never be sure of is what the production team wants or what a director wants. So if a casting director puts out an audition call, you might think that you have the ability to act, but you don't know what they are looking for. And you might audition and then you won't get selected. That does not mean that you're not a good actor. It just means that you're not what they are looking for. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is that as a production house, knowing that there are people or there are actors I've worked with before who have been able to deliver in a particular way, I may lean more towards them in my next production. Even I might write a script around the characters or around them, because like, if I'm able to get this, character out of this actor, then it inspires me to write another film or write another script that might be for the actor, because I already had the actor in mind. So it may look as if there are some people who work with only particular people because they deliver. and they give them the results that they want. And also because of popularity, which is another topic for another day, because actors nowadays have to leverage on social currency as well in order to get audience, not only on social media, but also that will translate to you being pitched. But that's, like I said, it's another topic.
The business of film.
The business of film, exactly. So it all depends. And having connects is a good way to get into a film, no doubt. However, it's not the only way. I won't say it's the only way, because I'll use myself as an example. I applied for MultiChoice Talent Factory. I didn't know anybody who worked at MultiChoice. To be honest, I've never even, in my family, we've never owned a DSTV satellite or like this. You understand? So I don't know anybody who was at MultiChoice, whether Ghana, Nigeria. Do you understand? But then I applied, and thankfully the application was accepted because I was what they were looking for at that time. You understand? So for me, I really don't believe in the whole general disposition that you have to know someone in order to get an opportunity. It does help, yes, but then even sometimes it restricts you, because I remember that I mentioned that I work with the EU and then also Great Institute.
Yeah,
that has restricted some opportunities that I may want to take. But people might say that, oh, because you work with them, it's easy for you to get opportunities. Actually, when some calls or some opportunities are put out there, I cannot apply because I work with the organization. And also, if it's a family member or a close friend, I may not be able to even work on who gets selected, because it's possible that a family member of mine might apply and I would have to know preferential treatments and all of that. I'm not given the chance to work on certain things. And even in my role, I'm not the one to decide who gets picked or not, because I'm a Ghanaian who lives in Ghana, and it's done by an independent jury who does not probably even know one Ghanaian. So actually knowing someone in certain industries can actually
limit
your opportunities. But people don't know. People say, oh, you there are working with, so yeah, good. No, it sometimes limits you. But I would say that, yes, one thing about filmmakers is we like to work with people we like. That's the thing. People like to work with people they like. So the moment they meet you, maybe in a gathering, and then you've shown yourself, worthy 1, 2, 3 times, you come for auditions, maybe there's just one word that would make them go like, this person might actually, and I've heard a number of film directors say that they work with people they like.
Plain, they'll just say it.
Yeah, they do,
We also like to say a very big thank you to Board House Electrical for providing us with a solar setup to run our studio space. We do not have interrupted power when we are recording because of the setup that they've given us. And so if you're home, you're an office, or you are any kind of business looking to have uninterrupted power, look no further than Board House Electrical. We've been on this setup for like 4 years now, and we've not had any issues on them. And so for any kind of power need, contact Board House Electrical. They will take care of you. And I mean, like, they'll take care of you.
So if someone says there are no real opportunities in the Ghanaian film industry, what would you use to counter that?
There are no real opportunities.
Yeah.
What would I use to counter that?
Yes.
Well, I gave my example earlier that I applied for MultiChoice Talent Factory. I got in. That was an opportunity I took advantage of. Well, there are a lot of roles that people are not even aware of. I mean, when people think film, they think there's a very skewed idea of who works in film or what can be done in film. There are people like fixers. People do not really know much about.
I mean, I don't know.
Yes, exactly. I'm about to get into that. There are some people who are called fixers.
What do they fix?
So all they do is, if there's a production house, for instance, maybe there's a foreign production, maybe from the US, Hollywood or something that wants to work in Ghana. Fixers are people that they will contact who would be able to pull them in the right direction or fix things in terms of like, you need a location manager, or I have someone who I know, I have someone. Like they get things done, really. It may be limited or not limited, and there might actually even be a broader way to explain who a fixer is. But then there's just that tag of being a fixer, that you're someone that, if I call this person, they know who to get,
who to call.
So it's like, that's your work. And that's what puts food on your table. There's some people like that. There's some too who location scouts. Theirs is to just go around, get locations. So some of them, there might not be a production happening, but because it's what I do, I'll probably go around, make connects with different locations. So the moment anybody comes to my doorstep and goes like, I need a particular location, you like, I know their place. Just, pull out my phone book, call the people, and then I connect the production. So you become the location scout or location manager. Or you be the location scout is different from being a location manager. So you would probably hand over to the location manager and they will take it from there. So their opportunities are vast. So when people say opportunities, they are thinking more like, oh, I need an audition to be an actor, or I need to write, and then hopefully my script to be selected by a director. But then those are just some of the roles that are played in the film industry. There's so many other things that can be explored.
Which other roles? You mentioned some of the roles. So you mentioned one role that I didn't even. So a fixer is more like a term where we say, yeah, that's the guy who knows the other guys.
Yes, almost like a middleman.
A middleman.
Yes. Yes. And it can be in theater, it can be in film, it can be in different aspects of creativity. That this person is a fixer.
It's a fixer.
Yes.
I'm shocked. That's a whole rule. Okay, yes. So which other rule exists?
Oh, there's so many rules. Even if you want to divide the different aspects of filmmaking, which is pre-production, production, post-production, distribution, marketing, and even in conceptualizing, like that's for pre-production. If you want to break down all the various aspects of filmmaking, there are so many roles that can be played. Someone can be just a researcher. So as a writer, I may want to write a film on maybe someone with a concept idea to is also different. So maybe the concept person or the person who has the idea to write a film has no experience in writing. That person would have the story by credits. Like you are the one who brought the story, but you're not the one who wrote the story, right? So like someone would conceptualize an idea that I want to write a film about lawyers and doctors or people in a particular field, and will give the idea to someone who's a writer. The person will probably, put it down and be like, okay, I'm trying to research on this, and may not have a lot of ideas in that area. We'll go to a researcher and talk to the person. That researcher will not get their information out of the blue. They would have to go to a lawyer or maybe a doctor and get that specific information. So even that doctor or lawyer has a role on the film, has become their resource person, has become the resource person or the person that we can call on to verify things. Because sometimes you be on set and you be like, the way the person has won the wig, is it correct? Let's call the resource person. Or the resource person will come on set and see if everything is placed well. Like, no, you don't put the pen here, you put it here. Or as a judge, they don't hold the thing like this, they hold it in a particular way. So even from then, we are coming down and you've seen all the roles that can be played in filmmaking. When you're writing as well, if it's a series, which is different from film, there's a writer's room. So a writer's room is a room filled with writers who are writing towards a particular maybe series. So there's people who handle those rooms. They handle the way the actors, like I will take the information of the writers. They come in every day. I'm the one in charge of making sure that they're eating, their food is taken care of, everything. I may say I work in the film industry, but when I tell you that I do welfare for a writer's room, you'd be like, I'm part of the process. I am part of the process because without me, the writers come in and they don't have enough water to drink, they're not eating, they don't have the right environment to bring the story to life.
The creative juice is not going to flow.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And then we have all these technical, there's a whole lot. So when people say, oh, there are no opportunities, I understand, and then also it also makes me wonder that maybe they have not really understood how filmmaking works, and they just have a very skewed way of seeing
myopic way of seeing things. So with that in mind, what skills are currently in demand? What skills are currently in demand in the film industry in Ghana that younger people can, go for?
Well, I'll just take one aspect. and talk about. So, for instance, now social media is all the rave. It's one of the best ways to market your film. So I'm sure there are a lot of individuals who do content creation that can take advantage of that and maybe have a contract with someone who does a film that, well, I'd like to be the one to take care of your behind the scenes. But behind the scenes is a different aspect of filmmaking as well. Because as a director, my focus is on the script and making sure that the mise en scène comes together. Like I'm looking at the screen the whole time. And then everybody else has a different role on set. I'm not too concerned about the behind the scenes. You understand? So someone has to focus on that. It's also like another production on its own. So someone has to focus on that to make sure that things are, being seen. Most of the productions that are happening in Nigeria, and even in Ghana recently, you see a lot of behind the scenes clips. You see the director in the clip, And even I have a series behind the scenes.
Yes, behind the scenes with AJ.
So when you go on set, you see the director and everybody from a different angle. And then you are understanding that, okay, this is how it works. So I think that would be in demand because, well, social media is also a way to market films. Another thing that's in demand is people who are going to connect filmmakers with distributors.
Okay.
Because a filmmaker has made their film, they don't know where to take the film. Their film is just sitting on shelves. And the distributors are there ready to receive films, you understand? But then we don't have people who are bridging that gap. Like, oh, you're a filmmaker, let me have it. I will definitely speak to this person. Let's see where your film
higher level middleman. That one there.
Exactly. And people don't understand that doesn't happen after the film is made. It's done before the film is made.
Oh.
Yes. These kind of decisions must be made before the film is made. I already have to understand as someone who works, I don't know what the name of that role would be, but like as someone who works as a middleman between distributors and filmmakers, I have to know before you even decide who your actors are, what the film is about, the genre of the film, the kind of audience that the film would appeal to. And then I would already start having conversations with people before your film is even made. So they will just be tracking the progress of the film and then knowing that, okay, it's about to be ready in 2 months. I'm going to bring it on this date. It's a film about this. And I know that you cater to audiences like this. And this is it. And then we'll have that conversation. So it's like, have we agreed or have we not even closed the deal before the films are made? So you close the deal. Of course, as a filmmaker, you'd have to have a reputation in order to do such a thing. Yes, but the conversations have already been had even before the film is shot. And those are kind of the roles that also need to be, filled because a lot of people will make films and then unfortunately they don't know where to place the film. They don't even know if it's a festival film or it's a streaming film or it's a film that's supposed to go to cinemas. There's so many aspects to filmmaking that people do not really understand. And I think even me on this journey, it's not like I understood everything. I'm literally still learning because just last year I interviewed a lady and I was speaking to her, Madam Joy Odiet, and I asked her what role she does in film. She said she's an aggregator. And I had not heard of that before. So I asked her who is an aggregator and she explained that she's not just like in the distribution pipeline. She's more or less like what I was saying, like she's the one who knows exactly which film fits in which markets, those kind of like playing the chess and in filmmaking. And that's a rule. It's a role, a film aggregator. So I think that even on my journey now, I'm meeting new people. When I speak to them, they tell me new things that, oh, this is what I do in film. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. And that's mainly even the reasons why I have interviews with them. So that people are able to see that filmmaking is not just about being behind the camera or
I'm really shocked.
So yeah, that's it. Well, if you ask about on demand, I'm sure there's so many others, but then these are the two aspects that I can think of.
That's nice. I think the behind the scenes one, it's more like you can think of it for like UGC for filmmaking.
Period.
Yeah, user generated content for filmmaking.
Exactly.
Yeah, so those of you who are, I won't call you influencers. For those of you who are content creators, you could actually look into that.
You know, it's actually happening, but it's happening subtly because, you know, now the ability to collaborate on platforms like Instagram.
Mhm.
So maybe a filmmaker will put their film out and it's out and someone will just do a video and
Pick it up and do a
this
video.
film is amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
and
I've
then
seen a
they
couple of those
collaborate
videos.
with the filmmaker. It may not necessarily be paid. Some maybe, we may never
You
know.
may never know.
And some too may not be paid, but it's just a genuine reaction. You understand? So all of that equates to marketing a film as well, because I'll be scrolling on social media and I'll see someone talking dispassionately about a film, and it will then push me to go and watch
And
the
watch
film.
the film.
So it's also a form of, it's happening. I think it's happening now. It is.
A couple of the African movies I've watched recently were actually based on like me seeing content online. And I was like, maybe I should check the movie out.
Exactly. It's a subtle way to, move your mind to the film and go and watch it.
But do you think the film industry in Ghana is doing a lot of marketing for the projects that they do? Do you think they do enough marketing to get the word out there?
What is enough marketing?
I mean, enough to saturate
Like, put
let's
in
say
people's faces.
Yeah. Do you think they do enough?
Well, I would say that some film premieres that I've seen, probably maybe one I was invited to them. So I'm like, okay, wow, there's this thing happening. So maybe I had not seen a lot of it on social media. So fair enough. The argument stands. Another one too might be that I will come across something on social media, people interact with it, and then maybe it ends up on my feed.
On your feed.
And then I see it and I'm like, I want to find out more about this. And then I find out more and then I talk about it on AJ4Short, because that's literally what I would want other eyeballs to see it. So that's why I'm talking about it. Another might be that it's probably a film I'm been following and I'm not excited yet because maybe the filmmaker has been dropping hints of it here and there. You understand? But then I wouldn't say it's a lack of publicity. What I'll say is that they do media rounds. I mean, when it's a week to their film, you see them to go for radio interviews and things like that. Maybe the radio interviews are not as popular as they were before because social media has come in. So maybe what I would say is that they should look at a different approach.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the work is being done, but then maybe a different approach. Even though some of these clips, like from radio stations, will be taken and then it's put out there. Maybe someone will say something that may not be a popular opinion, and then they'll take it and it starts, and then you'll be asking yourself that, who was that? So, is this filmmaker that was saying this? Is that why? And they were promoting their film on Saturday. Oh, really? There's a film. This is a publicity. That's what we publicize. But what I would say is that, yes, there are definitely ways that we can employ to make publicity
more.
Yes, more.
Now, just on there, I would like your honest opinion. Do you think the media assets that they use to create some of the marketing that they do, they are visually appealing? Do you think they are visually appealing, like their flyers, their videos? I have a thing for good-looking flyers.
Right.
When I see a flyer that is not good-looking, I genuinely would not want to associate. I don't want to see it. I don't want to watch. I would judge based off the flyer you've showed me.
Right.
So do you think that the assets that they use are good looking enough? Do you think they are working with the current times? Or do you think they are still working with the old formats now that used to happen in 1980s?
You have an opinion about that.
Yes.
You don't like them.
I don't like them.
You don't like them. You don't appreciate them. And that's fine. What I think is that we need to get to the crux of every issue.
And also a very big shout out to Elite Zone Enterprise for providing us with this tablet. I mean, look at this tablet. Look at the size. It's small. It's cute. If you're an MC, you're a secretary, you're looking for something quick to put in key in data or handle your presentations and anything like that, this is the kind of device that you need. But hold on, it's not left out to MCs and secretaries. If you're a gamer looking to build a heavy PC for gaming, video editing, anything like that, or animations, contact Elite Zone Enterprise because they are the trusted source for all my PCs that I've built over the past years. So yes, Elite Zone Enterprise is the right place to go when you need anything PC or laptop or tablets. Let's get back into the video.
There are people who train to design film posters. Their work is to design film posters. The posters will go through a lot of scrutiny. They sit behind, there's a board that will be like, no, we don't like this. Or they bring two different options. People are deciding, and then, yeah, this is good to go. And even if it's good to go, there's probably some revision that may be made. The font, we don't like the font. The font does not speak to the film. There are people who are trained to do that. But it just seems, or we come across a poster and we're like, wow, this is really good. It's because people have been trained to actually make the poster appealing to the senses. That will make you want to. And this is something that happens in Hollywood. I
actually thought you were talking about wood.
No, but I can confidently say that there are some designers I know in Nigeria that are known for film posters, and they do amazing well. There are some people that even when you go to comment sections of film, they go like, I know it's this guy who designed it. I know it is, because there are some people who have trained themselves. They may not necessarily have gone to school to study the art of movie poster designing as a course, but they've realized that there's a gap and they're filling that gap. So they get better with time. They compare previous years to the new ones. And then you see that with time, the trends that are coming, they incorporate it into the designing of the posters, because every single year or every single decade, there's definitely a new thing that appeals to a different audience. So the question actually is, are we really filling those holes that need to be filled in order for us to get the quality or the grade that we desire? Because unfortunately, and I'm not saying a particular house has done that, some people may even leave the designing of the poster to the last.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, the film is ready. How do we then
so now let's do
this?
the
For instance, a MultiChoice Talent Factory. The reason why I know this is because it's something that we went through. When we made our films, like we were put in groups and you made feature films. Now you make your film and you have to design a poster. We had to reach out to people who design film posters, and they were paid for it, designed to give it to us. And then we go to our heads, the executive producers, that's the people who gave us money to make the film. Then they had to put it on the screen. We're in a dark room. We're going through the designs. This is different. This is not us. No. What do you see when you see this? And we brought neutral people as well. It was a process. So we had people coming in and then they've never heard of the film. They don't know anything. So they say, judge, which one do you prefer? Oh, we prefer this. Why? I think it's more, what's the story about? Is that about? Yeah. Then we were like, this is it. So there's a psychology behind it. So it's not just about like designing something and putting it out for your film. You really have to understand the psychology behind it and what will pull an audience. So with regards to that, what I would say is that we should rather concentrate on filling those gaps. There should be people who say, you know what, I want to be a film poster designer, and that's what I'm going to do. So the person would be trained in it and become refined. And then we know that, okay, this is the person that can actually do the job for us.
Yeah. Wow. That's in fact, I never thought about having like one person or having a group of people who just design film posters.
So that's probably another thing.
Another gap the young people could fill. The graphic designers.
Yeah, you can decide that this is what I want to do. I want to focus on film. And then you now there's a lot of information on YouTube. YouTube University, as people say. You can just go online and then understand the psychology of film posters. Get into it, understand how it works, do a few samples here and there and everything. And then with time, you will definitely get better.
Interesting. Do you think, well, would you say that would be well paid, or the person who would learn even that skill will be well paid for it? Now, this will lean into your perspective on the creative industry in Ghana, and if you think they are being underpaid or underpriced. So, for that particular role like this, like a film poster designer, do you think the people in Ghana will be well paid for it? Because anybody would just feel like, oh, it's just, graphic design work. You just put a couple of things together and you put the dates, you put the days.
So, well, let me use this analogy. When you go to maybe a 5-star hotel, you see a bottle of water. It's different from the bottle of water that is sold outside. There are different price ranges and things like that. I personally believe that you can do one thing, but you can stand out. So what is important is people understanding the value of what you do. If people realize that I used a film poster designer, and I got a lot of people commenting about it that I want to see this film and I want to, this is a film I'd like to see. And then it pulls people to maybe the cinemas, or when it's changed the first week, it's number one and things like that. With time, the results will
Speak for
itself. And then you see the reaction. And then you get value for what it is. And if people are able to, just as you were saying, generally creatives, the thing about creatives, I am one of them, we tend to forget that this is something that's supposed to feed you as much as you are feeding it. So you are creating, you're putting a lot out, but then you're not getting any leverage. So with time, when you reach a particular point in your career, the hunger go wire you. You go wire you. And then you realize that
you feel it in your body.
Feel it, you have to manage. But then at the end of the day, what's important is you realize that this is a business. That's why I really appreciate courses that go into this is not just a creative thing, it's a business as well. Understand that you have to eat, you have to be able to sustain yourself with this. And I believe that people will pay value for money. So yes, it might not be a popular profession in the beginning, but when you do start and you get better with time, and then you are the sought after one. The same way you have the big actors and actresses like Jackie Appiah, Nadia Boy, and all of that, they can put a price to their name now because they were consistent.
They've done the work.
And they've done the work. Yeah.
What would you suggest to the Ghanaian film producers or makers to start doing so that they bring back the zeal that used to exist? I remember in 2000s, when I say it's like that, it's I'm not that old. In the early 2000s, there used to be the whole Chewa, part 1, part 2, and there were people that were very educated that used to enjoy watching Chewa. And I didn't understand it until I watched one of it and I realized, oh, this is why they are watching it. Some of them watch it for comedy because I used to laugh when I watched it. And it was interesting. And when you had all those, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, the film industry now can bring back the enthusiasm that used to be there?
Well, I'll just pick up from what you said. You were wondering why educated people are watching it.
Yes.
And that's one of the first barriers that we create in the film industry. We have classified it this is for people who are educated, this is for people who are not educated. We are not seeing it for what it is, which is to entertain, educate, and then inspire or inform, That's literally what filmmaking is. And if we understand it from that angle, honestly, no matter what genre, no matter what kind or quality of film is made, we will appreciate it for what it is. The moment we place barriers on filmmaking is when we now have sort of caged the ability to enjoy. Because someone will say, oh, I don't watch Nollywood movies because it's not really. But then you watch it and you're like, wow, I'm entertained. I may not be educated by the film, but to tell me that bad people get bad endings, good people are rewarded, and then be careful because if you put your foot there, someone will come and put something in it. So to make me you might think you're not being educated, but
it's informing you.
Exactly. And then it's making you more aware of what can happen. But it's done in a different way. Just there's slapstick comedy. There's all these genres of comedy that, when I was studying theater, we were learning about the Italian Renaissance, French, English, and all the different forms, slapstick comedy, and all the things that came as a result. People in those times were appreciating it for what it was. And then they also realized that film evolves.
Mm-hmm.
So they were also moving with the time. That's why there was a renaissance. It was there was a way films were being made, and then there was a resurgence. And then people were appreciating it for what it is. And changing. Yeah, so I think that is one of the barriers that really does not allow us to enjoy films. Because if someone has made a film there's obviously an audience for it. So let them enjoy it for it. And then why are you judging them? If you have a particular way you'd like films to be made, then make them.
Make them.
Yeah, like, and if
Please
easy,
don't make
do
them.
am.
Don't make
No,
It's
but
not easy.
The point is, if it is easy, do it. I think that we just need to
Lord.
appreciate the industry for what it is. We are not going to get everybody to make a film like Steven Spielberg. We're not going to get everybody to make a film like Ryan Coogler. Like, not everybody is made or cut from the same cloth. Appreciate everybody for what's, and that is one thing I realized that they do in Hollywood, even though, of course, that whole boxing of people is fine, and it regulates the industry as well. So we have, for instance, maybe in Nigeria, there are films that are done by maybe in the East, that is more of the Igbo side, and other tribes as well, not just the Igbo, but they have films that they make, and it's suited to people who speak that language. Then also the West, Yoruba.
West.
Then we have the people who they have the Yoruba.
The Anikulapo and the rest.
Exactly. So that would cater to a different demographic, and we should allow people to enjoy what they want to enjoy. But the thing is also, we also have to remove the whole perception of mediocrity from our minds. If you're going to do something, do it well. You yourself, as you're sitting in the chair and watching the fun, you're enjoying it. You understand? It's not that I put a lot of money into it, so everybody's supposed to enjoy it. No, everybody wants to see some, good cinema on their screen. And honestly, this whole YouTube resurgence has taught us that people have the time to watch these films. They watch them. But then you have to, a lot of people have even been complaining about the formats that these films take. They use only a few characters and it's just the same location and everything. But then that's someone working within the budget that they have. At the end of the day, they are doing the work. And if you feel like there's a gap, fill it.
Please don't fill it if you don't have the budget to fill it. There's a reason I'm saying this thing. I was involved in a set to gather people for a wedding scene. My job was just to gather people for a wedding scene. The role was as simple as, they'll meet you at Accra Mall, and then you move them from Accra Mall to Ibiri. Tell me why I'm still on set at 9 p.m. and I'm tired. What are we doing? Then you have people calling you, 3 people are calling, they can see you on another call, but they are still calling. Please, if you don't have the money and you don't have the heart, don't do it. Just let the people doing it to do it for themselves, okay? Now let's proceed. So there's this, I've seen a couple of videos where producers come out and, they are ranting, some are crying about they spent a whole lot of money producing a movie, paying actors and actresses, and now they finished shooting the movie and, the actors and actresses are not available to sort of promote the movie that they are in.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that? What's your take on it? Because I think that if I am part of a movie or I'm part of the cast in a movie, I would promote it even if you don't tell me to promote it.
Right.
And I'll do this solely because I'm thinking from the perspective of, okay, once I promote it and it goes well, my face is in there and everything I've done is in there. So then more people will get to see me and more business will come to you as a producer or the executive producer. Yeah. And then you will call me back because based on the way I promoted the film, you would also be interested in having me back on the set.
Absolutely.
What's your take on that?
Yeah, but that's you though. That is you. And that's how you think. I think we're not approaching it from the fact that producers have a right to protect themselves. At the same time, actors or people who appear on screen also have the right to protect themselves. Most of the time, people are taking it from a hierarchy that the producer is higher than the actor. And which is fair when we are on set. But as professions, we are all professionals. When we are on set, I have to answer to a producer. Or let's just say that the director answers the producer. Like there's a hierarchy basically. So you, the actor, you work with maybe the first AD and they will be taking you through this. But what's important is the director will tell you, do this, do that. I need you here, I need you. And you do that because we're on set. And that's within the confines of the production. People have forgotten that when you take acting as a profession and producing, there shouldn't be any balance to say a producer is better than an actor or an actor is better than a producer. So once we understand it as that, it makes it easier for us to understand. So you said that as an actor, you personally think that even if a producer has not asked you to promote their work, which you were a part of, maybe even the lead character, you will do it because it seems like the right thing to do. But to me, as an actor, I'm seeing myself as a brand. I have over 5 million followers on Instagram. Each and everything I post on Instagram generates me income to sustain the life and the lifestyle that people see of me outside, and to sustain me as a brand. Probably I go for facials, because I have to maintain a look that producers will be happy to work with and call me for. Yeah, so every single thing counts. And I have a team. I have a manager, I have a PR, I have a publicist, I have all these things that I have to think about as well, apart from the money that I'm making. So every single thing needs to come structured. If I am going on a film set, I have a contract that I sign about the money I'm going to make and everything. And then the money or the contract will bind me from the beginning of the production to the end of the production. Probably when it's a wrap, I don't have any role to play again. I'm probably on to the next production. Every single minute, second counts. So if you're a producer and you're working with me, you have to stipulate every single thing that I need to do on a particular production in the contract. So if after the production you want me to engage in some interviews, and it's not supposed to be done out of goodwill, it's supposed to be stipulated. And that's what will protect me as an actor, someone who's also trying to survive as a creative. So everything should be stipulated in the contract. If you want the actor to post 5 times on Instagram and everything, then I would have a conversation with my team. They decided, okay, when you post one, you're able to make 1 million Ghana cedis. So if we put the 5 together, I mean, let's do it as a package. Maybe we'll say the 5 posts is equal to 500,000. So they'll add that to the fee you get as an actor on this set. Are we good? I'm like, yeah, I think that's fine. You know what? Or maybe this producer, I've worked with him before, so let's slash it in half. But at least I know I'm getting a particular amount of money in addition to the money that I'm getting for being an actor on set for it. And that also helps me to sustain myself as a brand, because those slots on my social media could have been given to someone else and I could have gotten. And I'm not just saying for social media. It could be anything. It could be the fact that, I have mouths to feed. And I'm thinking about every single thing that I'm doing and the time it will take. For instance, if I'm on set and you come to me, we want to do a behind the scenes interview. Out of goodwill or the fact that I'm on set, I can say yes. But maybe I'm not looking in the best shape. And I'm someone I like to maintain a particular brand. So if you come to me, maybe when I'm in the middle of maybe you're on set and you've just done a scene where you've delivered a child, you're not going to look the best. Maybe that's the day that the behind the scenes person is there, so I have to do the interview at all costs. I will not feel, maybe I need to be in the role, I won't feel comfortable doing the interview at that time. So maybe as an incentive, it would be nice to like, oh, you know what, this is all the whole package. This is it. And I'm paying. So I understand, and I'll tell you that, okay, you know what, come on Tuesday when I'm doing an office scene, I will look a bit more put together. And I think on Tuesday, that's when. So we've had these discussions long ago. So when on Tuesday, the behind the scenes person comes and is doing the interview, I'm able to give up my best because you want the best. So we have to think of everyone. Now let's talk about the production side of things. As a producer, like I said, I think I was also speaking for the producers. It's really important that before you even go on set with your actor, you already discuss these things up. I also expect for you that we'll do a media tour. So it's a week today, the day that is going to premiere at the cinemas. We would like you to visit TVP. This is it. You can list as many, and then the person will be like, okay, they'll be aware that I have to arrange my schedule around
these things.
And that would also demand that as a producer, you already know the end from the beginning, meaning that you already know the dates that the film is going to come out. It's not like we've shot the film. Oh, okay, when it's ready,
we'll let you know.
Because maybe that will be years to come and I've already moved on. I'm doing another production. I even look different than the film that I made. So it's like my brand is being like, I've already moved past that. So I may not even be willing to do it. Maybe I've even changed the way I present myself as an actor. Maybe that one I did a high school role, but now I'm moving into more adult roles. So you telling me to now come and promote a film that was like 2 years ago may not be on brand for me. So I may decline, but you may not understand. So I feel like before the end should already be known before the beginning. So you kind of, and I know unimaginable things happen. Like maybe you lose some footages or something will happen that will prolong the production, but you have to carry along the actor. Carry along the actor and let them know, like speak to them, treat them like you understand that their time is worth every money that they make. So you would respect that. And also actors should also respect the contract that they have with the producer. If as an actor you have told your producer that, oh, don't worry, I'll come and then do the things for you, I feel like it's only right to do that. But the producer, he or she does not have the right to take you on once it is not legally binding. So we should not deal with emotions here. We should just look at the way it is and then treat it as a business. And once we do that, we'll really take ourselves more seriously. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, what has your journey so far revealed about you that you didn't expect?
Well, the journey has revealed that I have multiple interests and I should not be shy about that. Because there are many instances where maybe growing up, you have a lot of people who will speak to you and tell you that, oh, you focus on one thing and which is fine. I mean, there are some people who can focus on one thing and then get it done well, and that's fine. But there are also others who are able to do multiple things. And I feel like shaming people who have multiple interests should not be the way. Because I'm not shaming you for having one interest. You know, I'm not, even though maybe I should, but no, don't mind. That was just a joke. But I'm just like, it's funny how you're shaming the person who has more interest, whereas you that you have one focus, which is fine. I'm not doing that. I don't even see it as a problem. But maybe, yes, I do have some internal monologues and things that are going in my head, like, oh, I have to focus on one thing. I should at least know. But I realized that we can all thrive in the environment being ourselves. It's okay. Don't feel bad that you are interested in this and interested in that. But the thing is, are you getting them done well? That's my thing. Do it well. It's not like, oh, there's some people who just have like short attention spans and then they fixate on something for a while and they let it go. I'm not talking about people like that. I'm talking about people who have multiple interests that they want to explore, and then they see it through. Like you actually see that, okay, maybe this person is doing a film today, they've launched it, like they've premiered it, it's gone well, it's gone to festivals, and the next day you are hearing that maybe they are in a music video or something, and then it does well. And hey, let them be. Like
let them enjoy themselves.
And be. So I think for me, it was discovering that and realizing that I shouldn't be hard on myself. Because there was a time when I felt like I need to know what I want to do with my life. And even as I'm sitting down here talking to you as this person that I'm presenting, who knows?
Maybe it will change.
In the next year, I may be presenting myself as someone completely different on a different platform, and that's okay. It's okay as long as I'm not doing anything illegal.
So tell me, who are you becoming through this work, the work that you're currently doing?
I'm becoming more of myself, I think. I don't think I'll fully know who I am until I like dabble in things that I have interest in. I don't think we fully have an idea of who we are. Yes, when we were growing up, we'll be like, what do you want to be? I want to be this, because of interest that you have. Our interests change. And it's okay to be okay with that your interests will change. So I am becoming more of myself in the sense that I personally think that it's only God that knows the end from the beginning. So I think I'm becoming more of who God has ordained me to be, or made me, created me, Alice Johnson to be. And I may not fully grasp the magnitude of who that person is until I take steps that will come soon. It's like there may be opportunities that there are opportunities that will come in maybe in the next week that when I leave here, maybe even I'll get a call. If I either pursue that interest or not, it may push me further to that person or further away. So I think it's human beings become who they are by virtue of the opportunities they take or they don't. And as the days go by, you are deciding to do this or do that because it just takes one call or one message or deciding to approach someone. Maybe you're at a program and you see someone you really look up to, just approaching them and saying, I really love, maybe that day that they also have it, or they also have been praying for someone to walk up to them confidently and they'll work with that person. And that's an open door. And then you become who you're meant to be in that role. And then, yeah.
Now let's go into the section that I like a lot, which is the game section.
Okay.
Yeah. This one's quick.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sir.
So you pick. You just say yes, true.
Well,
you agree, you disagree.
Okay.
And then give your perspective.
Okay.
Connection matters more than talent. Hey, it's quick.
No, I don't think so.
Why?
Because if I'm connected and I'm very bad at my job, with time my fruits will show for itself and nobody wants to work with me. But if I'm talented and I may not have the connect, if I put myself out there, people might, or the right people might see me.
You don't need film school to succeed in the industry.
True.
Hey, you don't?
No, you don't need film school to succeed in the industry. However, if you have the talent, the eye, not everyone has the eye, even if they go to film school. You might be very technical because you've been taught that way. But I feel like there's something that some filmmakers have that is not taught. It's just natural. And because maybe that's just who they're supposed to be. So yes, you can refine that by going to school, but you don't need the school to succeed.
Okay. Nice. The audience is part of the problem.
The question is, what is the problem? Yes, the audience is definitely part of the problem, but what is the problem? Yeah, because audience will have their takes. The audience is filled with people from all walks of life. Someone who appreciates the film that they've seen or does not appreciate it or have an opinion. Someone who has been to film school so has a different way of analyzing a film. Someone who has not and has a different way of analyzing. So that's also another way to look at it. So what exactly is the problem we are dealing with? Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go on to the different section of the game.
Okay.
Cast the story.
Cast the story.
Yep.
Okay.
The struggling filmmaker who finally gets a big break. Who is going to play that role? Who do you give it to?
In Ghana or?
In Ghana.
Oh, in Ghana, I'll probably give it to... I like to see James Gardner in that role.
I see.
Yes.
A ruthless producer who fits the
Because
role.
I have not seen him in a role like that.
Because you've not seen him in a role like
so
that.
I'd like to see him in that role. Yeah.
A struggling.
Push the boundaries and then, it's not always about being a pretty boy, which he already is. Yes, but then he's done some also other challenging roles, but I like seeing him in that role.
I saw him in a role as a bodyguard in a movie I watched recently. I think it was the producer that put it on Netflix also.
Okay.
But yeah, I was shocked to see him as a bodyguard. I was like, bro, what I do here?
So yeah, I like to see that.
So, a ruthless producer.
A ruthless producer. Askalaka.
Interesting.
He's a good actor. He's a really good actor.
Yeah, I know him as a very good actor.
Yes, so I'd like to see him in that role. I think he'll be very ruthless. That's not to say that he is, but yeah, I'd like to see him in that role.
So right now, I'm shaking my mystery box. That's not shaking.
Yay, mystery.
This part is called the $1 million question. But depending on the one you pick, you can pick 3 million, you can pick 5 million, you can pick. So whichever one you pick.
We are showing them to me.
No, I'm showing you the $1 million. So pick the millions you want and then read the question that is inside.
Okay.
But you have to tell us.
Speaking to me.
It's speaking to you. You don't like it?
No. I thought it was 2.
Yeah,
this is speaking. So I should open it.
Yep.
Okay.
So now, what does it say?
A moment you felt out of place. Out of place. Okay. Yeah, I can talk about that. So I remember the first time I got a chance to go to an international film festival was to go to Clermont, and by international I mean outside of Africa.
Okay.
Clermont Short Film Festival in France. I got the opportunity to be there. I felt really out of place because when I could not communicate in the language that was being communicated, primarily, even though there were people who were speaking English, I did not understand the French. So it's made me see a lot of people having passionate conversations I couldn't be a part of. But then I realized that there's really no barrier because at the end of the day, I can go and learn French. At that moment, I felt really out of place. I won't lie. Because this is something I'm passionate about, but I'm not able to express myself well enough because of the language, which was a barrier. So,
je m'appelle aujourd'hui. So
that's it.
Let's sign out with this question. If someone listens to this and is on the edge of giving up on the creative industry in Ghana, what would you say to them?
That's a very broad question. Should I look in the camera? So it's a broad question because creative industry is full with writers who write books, filled with photographers, videographers, filled with different walks of life of people. And because I'm more into the film and theater, so I'll talk about film. So if you are someone who's on the edge of giving up, you have to find your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you pursuing this lane? Because there'll be moments where I'll wake up, ask myself, so why am I doing this? Because, I was not funded to do AJ4Short. There's no funding coming from anywhere. Truth be told, I have not been paid for the work that I'm doing. So I ask myself generally, constantly, why am I doing this? Why am I talking about the film industry? Why are you doing it? And if you have an answer to that, that should be your motivation to keep going. Because you see a bigger picture. For me, I see a bigger picture. I can see the picture. Not a lot of people can, and not a lot of people will see it. But once you see it, just keep working towards that picture. And believe me, you'll get there. I am still on the journey, and that's why I'm here at the journey. And I'm still on that path to the bigger picture because I see it very clearly. But that is what will motivate you. Because sometimes you wake up in the morning, the picture is blurry, but you have to ask yourself why. And when you do ask yourself why, the picture becomes clearer, and that should motivate you to keep going.
Thank you so much for coming. It's been a very wonderful conversation with you.
Likewise.
Now, I'd want you to do your final sign out. Tell my audience to subscribe, like this video, they should share their thoughts, their genuine thoughts in the comments. And tell them to watch. Keep watching the Journey Uncovered.
Yes, guys. It's always a journey, rediscovering yourself. And this is a great opportunity I've had to actually go back on some of the things I've been through and acknowledge that I'm really grateful for the journey. So thank you for having me. And I'll say, keep watching the Journey Uncovered and always comment, share it with someone you know would be motivated. And of course, I'm going to plug myself shamelessly. I'm just the AJ4Short. And if you're looking to get, well versed with the film industry, whether it's in Ghana or in Africa and the diaspora, definitely follow AJ4Short. Subscribe to the Journey Uncovered. Subscribe to AJ4Short as well on Instagram and on YouTube and TikTok. And follow this lovely gentleman who is doing the work by uncovering the journey.
Lovely gentleman. I love the way she said it.
And of course, shout outs to the people behind the scenes. Yeah, I see you. It's been warm and cozy, and I really love the atmosphere here. And the energy in this room is really good.
I like it.
So thank you all.
Thank you. So I'd like to say a very big thank you to every single one of you that have watched up to this point. I'll see you in another episode. Bye.